Vanilla Gorilla.
And we are the Gorilla Gang Podcast 3421. Got a lot to talk about today.
Not a lot, just
well,
two subjects just with a lot of fucking subject.
Lot of emotion and
it just gets,
different things. Before we get started, though, I'd like to do a moment of silence for George Floyd, just in case you don't know who George Floyd is. If you've been under a rock this whole time, he is the gentleman, the black gentleman that was killed in Minnesota by the police. They put their knee on his neck, and he was saying he couldn't breathe, and later on that night he succumbed from his injuries.
So it was 9 minutes of knee in the neck.
Knee in the neck, right. And he was handcuffed, by the way, which means the threat was eliminated.
Right.
But before we get into that, we're going to speak on some other things, but just a real quick moment of silence for him. All right, rest in peace, George Floyd. All right. I think the first subject we got to talk about is another one that's not as deep, but people have been up in arms about it.
Still a lot of fallout from the Bulls documentary.
Yeah,
and I'll say that again: the Bulls documentary. It wasn't a Michael Jordan documentary.
But you got to say too, with the impact that it's had, it must be one of the greatest documentaries in the last 3 years.
Oh, I think so. I think the only one that comes close on a impactful level, like Tiger King was good and entertainment, but it wasn't necessarily good. I think the only thing that comes close is the OJ documentary, Made in America.
I don't think I ever seen the documentary, but I did see the People versus OJ, the one with
that was the TV show.
No, I enjoyed that thoroughly, by the way. Though.
Yeah, that was good, but the OJ documentary is probably the only thing that even comes close, and that even falls far behind. But a lot of things going on. Like people,
how many people still want to be like Mike?
A lot. He still been. I think it's heightened what type of player he is. Mm-hmm. He may be more of a douchebag to a lot of people, but I don't think play wise
to his basketball legacy.
No. And that's the thing. I know that one of the Horace Gray and upset how he was portrayed, Scottie Pippen, all that. But ultimately, the shit happened. You can't have a Chicago Bulls documentary without documenting what happened.
Right.
Like they documented Michael Jordan's failures and getting his ass kicked by the Pistons. So in order to edit that so that Michael Jordan looked like infallible, they should have edited out all that Piston stuff and just skip straight to where they swept them. So it wasn't that he edited it and made himself look.
No, he had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, he didn't have to do with. He just had.
He had control.
He had creative control, and once the final product was produced, he just said, "Yeah, okay, that's cool."
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And if there was something in it that he didn't like, I think they did take it out.
Well, Mike said he was worried that he was going to be portrayed as a tyrant or a bad guy.
Right. Like, why wouldn't
you wouldn't put that out?
You wouldn't put calling somebody a hoe and a bitch and all that. You wouldn't put that in there.
I will say the one now.
It's just stupid.
The Jordan documentary didn't faze me at all because I've
Bulls
already.
Documentary.
The Bulls documentary. The Last Dance did not faze me at all because I kind of already thought Jordan was a dick. Everything pretty much, Isaiah already thought he was a dick. We've had those conversations before, okay? The only thing that bothered me a little bit in the documentary, and I'll get to why, was when Jordan said that Pippen was selfish for not having the surgery. That bothered me a little bit because Pippen was an underpaid player the whole time that he was there.
True, but what does that have to do with his teammates? You know what I mean? Like, you don't put your teammates. He did it to spite management.
Yeah.
But in spiting management, he also did his teammates dirty. You know what I'm saying?
I will say it had a little bit to do with his teammates because think about this. If I'm the second best player on that team, and also maybe even like one of the top 10 players in the league, and I'm underpaid, that makes room for you to add more to the Bulls. Whereas if me and Michael were getting like a premium salary, you wouldn't be able to make as many maneuvers within that team.
Yeah, but again, that's management's responsibility to fill in the gaps. The players had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
They don't have no control over that.
But I'm just saying, Scotty could have went somewhere else, demanded a trade, whatever.
Which is what he did. He well, even if you listen to the way he said it, he was like, "I'm not gonna ruin my son." Like that makes you seem selfish. And on the outside looking in, ultimately, none of us were on the Bulls, and I feel like Michael Jordan's allowed to think he came across as selfish. He's number one. He's the team leader. Number two, he's the one that's gonna have to make up the slack.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So that
Mike can think whatever he wants to think. I'm not mad at him for thinking that. I just sometimes there's some things that you can think and don't have to be said. You understand what I'm saying? I don't think he needed to say that.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
If the interviewer asks you, how did you feel about Scotty not coming back, not getting the surgery and not coming back? That's not a no comment. It's fucking 20 some years later. You just speak on it. Who cares? It's 20 years later.
Yeah.
I thought he was selfish in that. Okay. If you that thin skinned that 20 some years later, it bothers you that your teammate felt that you were being selfish about some shit that's long gone, that nobody can change, and get over it.
No, I hear you, and I'm not like, when I say the only thing I had a problem with, it's not like I'm like, oh my God,
no, I understand.
It was a great documentary, let's that happen. I'm just thinking, look, this man was underpaid his whole career just about with the Bulls. You know what I mean? Like,
no, he was with the Bulls. I don't know that he got that much of a bigger payday with Portland.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But when he went to Portland too, he wasn't scoring. His average went down a little.
Like little in each category, but still got him to the conference finals against the Lakers.
Yeah,
took the Lakers to 7 games.
Yeah, I remember that's when he was looking at Kobe all hard. I'll never forget that. But nonetheless.
Yeah, but then he screwed up the last play, and that's how the Lakers won. He let Kobe drive to the lane, throw the alley-oop to Shaq. Yeah. Kobe shook the shit out of him, just being able to throw the lob to Shaq because they had to come off to double-team Kobe. Otherwise, he had a free lane. Yeah. Shaq did that alley-oop dunk, boom. Yeah. Up the court, and the story.
That's my thing. I think with him, I don't think you could particularly call... Well, I guess you could, but I don't think it was fair to call him selfish. I personally don't think it was fair. So, nonetheless, but, great documentary.
Well, the most recent, the biggest controversy is Michael Jordan lied about not wanting Isaiah on the Dream Team. First of all, that's not what he said. And then second of all, other players from Stockton,
Magic,
Malone, Magic, David Robinson, one of the nicest, I like everybody type
people you could ever meet.
Barkley, Bird. None of them wanted Isaiah on the team. They've all literally came out and say it. Magic said nobody in his book, no one wanted to play with Isaiah.
But nobody liked the Detroit Pistons because they had that
But they hated him even more because they knew he's the catalyst. Between him and Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah.
Isaiah Thomas was a fucking dirty player. He just was. It wasn't rough. He was dirty. Remember, he was just a dirty player.
Yeah, because Joe Dumars was actually on the Dream Team, right?
Joe Dumars, if John Stockton's broken leg wouldn't have healed, Joe Dumars would have been the backup point guard of Magic. So he didn't even get selected.
Right.
So I'm still...
Wilson, what's going on, bro?
I'm still trying to figure out what is the problem with the man saying, I didn't want to play with him. Nobody has a problem with David Robinson saying I didn't want to play with him. Nobody has a problem with Magic Johnson, who used to kiss the dude before the finals.
Yeah. Well, I can answer that question.
They only cared that Michael Jordan didn't want to play with him.
Because Michael Jordan is basically the center. You know what I mean? At that time, he's the center of that team. He's the best player in the world. You understand what I'm saying? It's unfair. I'm not saying it's fair. But what happens is, when you point a finger at somebody, you usually look at who you would consider the leader of the whole thing, right? So, if you got a team at work, right? And the team messes up. They probably gonna go to the head of that team, the manager or whatever. Look, why did this happen? But really, the person that made the mistake was somebody on a lower level.
Right.
But yet and still you catch that heat. So it's a situation like that, and it's not fair. And I'm sure Jordan has had a bunch of unfair stuff done that way to him, because
course.
he's looked at as, the leader, the center, or what have you of that team.
Right.
So,
but remember, if you think about how the story with the phone call even started, when Rod asked Michael to play, Michael even said, "Well, who's all playing?"
yes.
And he told him, he said, because first of all, he said, "I'm not playing if everybody else ain't, like Magic, Bird, blah, blah, blah. Mark, Charles, Patrick." He said, "Well, I'm not going to play if they're not going to play.
Right.
You're not going to put me on a team of college kids and expect me to be, no, I'm not doing it."
Right.
So he asked who all's playing. And then he asked about Isaiah. Okay. I don't want to play if he's going to play. Nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely, like, you got to think, from Mike's rookie year, where Isaiah engineered, "Don't pass this kid the ball in the All-Star game." He has every right to hate that motherfucker.
Well, the shaking of the hand to me was completely distasteful, especially.
And it was right before the selection. That's why even the selection committee was like, nah. It literally was right before they selected.
Well, what's
the
worse
players.
is this, though. You're saying you felt slighted by the Celtics who didn't shake your hand, and you turn around and do the same thing. Seriously?
No excuse. When they kicked the Bulls' ass the year before, the year before that, like Michael
shook
Jordan
his hand,
said,
like he made it a point.
shook their hand. Lakers lost. They shook. When the Lakers eventually lost to them, came in the locker room,
Magic and them was hugging, yeah.
made sure to come congratulate them, because you can't do it on the floor with all the celebrating and all that stuff. So that's a weak, lame excuse. It made you look like shit. Stop trying to play the "oh well, we got it done to us" card. That's a lame ass
the
excuse.
Celtics didn't shake their hands. There was bad blood. The Pistons had bad blood with everybody.
Everybody.
But the Celtics, Bill Laimbeer and Bird till this day.
Oh, hate each other.
Yeah. I mean, give each other no respect, no props, or anything like that. So,
And Bill Laimbeer to this day, same with Michael Jordan, gives him zero credit, calls him overrated. Still to this day has issues with him. So why is it surprising that to this day Michael Jordan has issues with Isaiah?
Yeah.
Like, it just is. I'm sure Michael has issues with Bill Laimbeer. Like, couldn't stand him, probably doesn't speak to him, nothing. I just thought it was stupid.
I heard that John Sally said he just started liking Bill Laimbeer in an interview. He said, "I just started liking Bill Laimbeer." So, Bill Laimbeer's a kind of a bad example.
Right. I mean, he's just literally the most hated person ever, probably in NBA history.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then the last little bit, I think, was Clyde Drexler kind of.
Yeah, how did you feel about that? I was offended because they compared me to Clyde Drexler. And if you were Clyde, if you were sitting at home and Michael Jordan talked about you that way, how would you feel about that? Personally, as somebody who played basketball more years than I did. I've played organized for the boys club before. But
I mean, I would be like, well, he has every right to say that. Like, okay.
You better than me. I wouldn't feel like, I hate Jordan, but I'd be like...
He said he gave the dude all types of props.
He did.
But then just turned around and made a simple, hey, I was offended that they compared him to me.
He said,
but that's for his ego.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, that's what you have to do. Mm-hmm. Like, if I was playing against my suite mate, for example, dude had like a 45-inch vert, was 6'5", his hands were even bigger than everything. Mm-hmm. Like, dude was built like Scottie Pippen. Mm-hmm. I would have... He used to trash me in one-on-one. Like, but
Jay-Z,
my ego wouldn't allow, even though he won most of the game, my ego would never allow me to say he was better than me.
Right.
I'm gonna find something that I'm better than you at.
Right.
And Clyde Drexler did this to himself. If you look at the '87 dunk contest that maybe it was '88. I think it was '88. If you look at that dunk contest, every dunk Michael Jordan did, Clyde Drexler came behind him and did. Like, Mike did the free throw line dunk, Clyde did the free throw dunk. Mike came from the side, Clyde Drexler came from the side. And had some lame ass excuse about, well, I was going to do those dunks anyway. Come on, man. You literally did every dunk Michael Jordan did. If you watch it, I swear, every dunk, I'll take that back. Every dunk Mike did that he got a 50. Clyde Drexler came behind him, and they were giving him like 42s. Like, dude, we just seen Michael Jordan do.
Right.
And he wasn't like a floating, graceful dunker. He just jumped high as hell, and he had some takeoff too.
His feet up.
Right, but he didn't have like that grace that Jordan had. So yeah, I can understand why Jordan was offended. You got to remember, before that series even started, all the media all was trying to compare the two of them, and they were like, well, you know, Clyde's a better 3-point shooter, and that's why he went out and shot those threes. So yeah, I would have been offended. I'm Michael Jordan, and the newspapers or the media, all they talking about is they're very similar, but Clyde's a better 3-point shooter. Wouldn't you have been offended? I would have been offended. Like, hold on.
I guess if I thought I was a better 3-point shooter.
This was MVP of the league last year and won a championship. And you talking about this dude is better than me because he can shoot threes? Nah. Nope. I would have been offended too. I mean, it's Clyde Drexler can speak up for himself, but you know, ultimately he has no say. He actually had to do the LeBron and join up with Akeem just to win a championship and all that. So
yeah, but see, I got a problem with that statement because it wasn't quite like LeBron. You understand? It wasn't like, you know, he called the people.
No. He didn't call, but he wanted to go somewhere where he
win a championship.
That he had a better chance to win a championship, and he picked. What Houston did back-to-backs, right?
Yes.
So he went on the second of the back-to-back.
Oh, I thought
he only won one championship. Nope.
Oh,
he only won one.
Okay.
And that's kind of the whole Karl Malone, Gary Payton. They tried to jump on the Lakers
and that didn't quite work
to get it, and
Detroit, the very team we were talking about, the new age bad boys, stopped that for them.
Yep. So yeah. So I mean, LeBron is different. LeBron's a recruiter. Those guys went just because, look, man, I need the best chance. And that, you got to think that lineup. What was it? Derek Fisher, Rick Fox, Kobe, Shaq. And that's like unstoppable prime Shaq, too. Karl Malone, Gary Payton. And they couldn't fucking win a championship.
But see, that was also the year. Well, I don't know if it was the first year Shaq and Kobe was having turmoil, but if you remember,
yes,
when the Lakers won the West,
it was. That was one of the things Karl Malone disliked about. He said he didn't like about the team was that it was all like they wouldn't sit next to each other on the bench and blah blah blah. But I also heard a story Karl Malone and Kobe got into.
Oh, they didn't get along. Yeah.
Because Karl Malone was flirting with Vanessa.
Ooh, okay.
And so they had some beef like that going back and forth, and I think Karl Malone just basically told him, "Look, I'm old school Western. I'm not sitting here doing all this talking. We just go hammer it out. No cameras, nobody else, just me and you. We can go."
Right.
He said, and that's for life. Anytime you feel like you got a problem, we can just go bang it out.
Yeah, you know, I gotta say too, man, from things I understand about Karl Malone, he seems to be a bit of a scumbag.
He is. I just saw a recent interview. I'll show you this. Dickhead. Yeah. They asked him about the whole, you know, they were asking every basketball player about the documentary. He's sitting there. He said, let me ask you, how you feel about Michael Jordan? He says, Michael Jordan. What you want me to say? He's Michael Jordan. and just like complete arrogance. Like, dude, really?
I'm not going to give you this interview, basically.
Yeah. Oh, you think he's an asshole?
Well,
I mean,
he had a father, excuse me. He had a son that was drafted into the NFL. He didn't want to be associated with Karl Malone's name. Said he didn't really raise him. Then I heard he didn't really raise his daughter, who I think is a track star or something like that it was. Yeah, so a lot of scumbag things about Karl Malone.
and goes, it's just weird to me that he goes out of his way to be a black, white redneck.
Karl Malone.
I just think it's weird. Like,
do you know where he's originally from?
Louisiana.
Louisiana. Okay.
Yeah, I remember old interviews. He was talking about how he became like good at dribbling was they played with a deflated ball on a dirt court, which if you ever done that, it's hard to dribble. So you can dribble a semi-deflated ball on a dirt court, man. That don't improve your handles.
Right. You know what's funny too? We were talking about Karl Malone kind of being an absentee father. I don't think his father was ever, if I remember correctly, was ever really there for him. So, because I think I heard him do an interview. You know, I wanted to throw the football with somebody. I wanted somebody to take me on a fishing boat. You know, so I know his mom's was like a very important person in his life, but as far as his father, I believe he had an absentee father, if I'm not mistaken. You looking it up?
Mm-hmm. His father was raising a family with another woman.
Yeah.
He married.
Yeah.
And then committed suicide when Karl was 3.
Oh,
so it wasn't that he was there. He
was
killed
gone.
himself. Yeah.
Like he was literally not there. Like, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that's that. I'm not a big Karl Malone fan. I wasn't even a big fan of his game. He could score and everything, but I thought his game looked ugly. That hand behind the head dunk. And lame. His sneakers, his LA Gear sneakers, lame. The catapults.
He got 7 kids.
I don't know if he took care of any of them.
Oh, so he twins? Yeah, twins.
Yeah.
Oldest kids are twins. One laboratory blood test concluded with over 99% certainty that the twins' father was either Karl Malone or a brother of Karl Malone.
I bet you Karl blamed it on the brother. It ain't mine, it's my brother's. So, yeah.
Yeah. Malone was ruled to be their father when he violated a court order by refusing to reveal his assets or submit to a DNA test.
Wow.
In 1998, he accepted the paternity. So they were born in 81. He didn't acknowledge them until 98.
Jeez.
Since that time, Karl Malone has maintained a relationship with each of the twins, who both played basketball at Louisiana Tech. His daughter went on to play for the Detroit Shock in the WNBA, and Bell was an offensive lineman for the Bills, Eagles,
Yeah, that's
Cowboys.
the one. Right? He doesn't take Malone's last name, correct? Or...
No, they were, because these are the ones he didn't acknowledge till 98.
Yeah, I remember he got drafted.
So his name was already, yeah.
But he spoke on it. He was like,
I believe it.
You know.
I mean, I wouldn't change my name after 11 years of only having my mom's name just because my dad's now in my life. All right.
No, I get what you're saying.
That's great, but I would never take my dad's
What
name.
I'm saying, he wouldn't have took it, you know, regardless, because he had a disdain for his father. You know, he never was disrespectful in his speech. He was just like, listen, I felt like he was never there for me. So,
He wasn't. I mean, for 17 years. So 98 to 81, that's 17 years. Wow, I wouldn't want nothing to do with him either.
Yeah.
And then one of his newer kids got invited to the combine too.
Okay.
Just the
The NFL
2018.
combine?
combine. Didn't go to a team. It just got invited to a combine. So yeah, I mean, shit, fuck it.
I guess we should keep our tradition of our little. It'll be a real short one, but coronavirus update. The only thing different I know about is June 1st. Things are supposed to open to what volume? I don't know.
Actually, I do.
Do you? Okay.
I mean, because I actually
Still can.
So the good thing about me not being able to be on live is we have a resource source that we can that we can look at. All right. So the phase 1 plan permits most business sectors, including gyms, the casino, and malls, to open, which are only allowed at 30% capacity. Strict face covering and social distancing requirements will still be in place.
So the stores aren't open. Just gyms?
No, I think businesses.
Oh, okay.
It'll include businesses. I think restaurants you're allowed, but it's strictly reservations. You can't.
I don't even care about. You know what I care about, bro?
Yes.
I want Cabela's to open because the ammo's cheaper there than it is at other places.
So we're gonna get into this later. But did you see the video of the dude with the bow and arrow shooting that protest?
The one that said that all he
they
did
pulled him out of the car.
Yes.
Because he said all lives matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you saw the real video.
Yeah. But yeah, so
he's lucky he didn't get shot at. He's honestly lucky he did not. And you know what?
All it would have took was one person that was open carrying. That's a direct threat. You're
absolutely.
pointing a bow and arrow that could end my life. Nope, you gotta go, bro.
And a bow and arrow shoots fast.
You gotta go, bro.
It's not like it's a slow thing. So.
Yeah.
Also one thing I want to mention too for the people out there. Speaking of firearms or weapons, I built my first AR-15. Very fun to build.
You should burn it for next podcast.
Yeah, I thought about that. I'll put a picture up in the podcast so people can see it. But, when I first heard that people build their own ARs, I was kind of scared. Didn't want to mess something up, and the money I invested, I'll put it this way. By building my own AR, I probably saved about close to $200 compared to what it would have cost if I bought it out the store already made. And that's sometimes without sights on it.
Right.
What's good is a gun without sights. So it's a lot of fun. I plan on building a second one, but I'm probably gonna make it what they call AR pistol, which is just a shorter version of the rifle. I got a buddy who's doing it now. My favorite thing about building it is I kind of understand how it works, and if I need to replace something, I know how to do it. And plus, I can tell other people, who are in the gun community as well, how to build. I got a buddy who's building his lower now. He hit me up, hey, I had a problem doing this. What did you do? You know what I mean? So that's fun for me personally. So.
Yeah, I've always heard, I do want to jump back to coronavirus because I think there's a misnomer that because things are opening up, that's no longer an issue, which is 1,000% not true.
Yeah.
But I've heard that people that build their bike from motorcycle bike from the ground up, like the Harley type of bike, that you understand more of the mechanics and all that because you built this piece, you put this piece together, you put this, and so you understand a little more.
Yeah.
But going back,
same thing with the AR, absolutely.
to the coronavirus, I think every place that has hastily opened up has shown increases. Now, will Delaware, where we live, who knows? Because what is going to happen is less people will get tested because it's not that big a deal. So if the numbers decrease, no one is going to be able to tell, is it because the numbers are actually decreasing? Is it because less people are getting tested because now everybody is at the beach? I don't know how many people are at the beach right now, but there's a lot.
I'm not ready for the beach.
It's a lot.
Ready for the beach.
I think the YMCA pool was open.
Not ready to.
I saw people at the pool. We all know the masks aren't preventing the spread.
Right.
You can get it still.
Yeah.
Through a mask. you can't give it, and I don't even know how true that is.
Right. It's some barrier of protection. How good it is.
It's better than nothing, but
right.
yeah.
I'm a big movie guy. I won't be going back to the movies just yet. And hopefully they still kind of do that cinema at home thing they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been plentiful because there's not movies being made. You know what I mean?
But they still had a slate of movies. Like, I don't know, the last one I saw was that Scooby movie.
I saw Bloodshot with Vin Diesel.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't okay.
No. I mean, I'm hoping they do, like, Wonder Woman 84. Like, well, those are two that I want to see.
Yeah. So,
I'm not going to the gym.
Yeah.
Not with a mask on.
No.
I'm not going to the gym with a mask, wearing a mask.
First of all, I ain't going to the gym, period, because here's the thing. You just would have to clean everything before and after you use it. And I don't know what that spray is they use at Planet Fitness. I don't know what that could be, some kind of water, some fake solution that they made up. So no, I'm not comfortable with being in these big public places. The only thing I'm gonna be cool with is stores are opening up that I couldn't access. Now I've been going to supermarkets and Walmart and Target, so I don't feel like that's any different if I go to whatever clothing store in the mall.
Sure.
To go get some clothes. So that is the only thing I'm going to be okay with. I'm not going to go to the movies. I'm not going to the beach, even though yesterday was so nice. In my mind, I thought, man, if I could go to the beach. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm not even I don't go to the beach and jump in the ocean. I go to the beach, sit down, get a pen and a pad, and I start writing.
Right.
Because one of the most soothing sounding things to me, and I don't know if a CD would work, is sitting on the beach and listening to the waves.
I don't think it would work. Well, I don't think it would work just because beach. One of the reasons why beach is so popular is its sensory overload. So you have the feel of sand, you have the feel of the water, you have the smell.
Yeah, which
I don't
isn't
like the
always
beach.
Good.
Well, it depends on what beach you go to.
Well,
but
if it ain't good.
If you hit but that's Yeah. But if you hit like a nice beach, that the smell, like just smelling the salt air when you get there. I hate the beach, but that's one part that I like. I do enjoy that. And then you have the auditory, just the sounds of the waves, and even the white noise of people like screaming, talking loud, whatever. You can't hear necessarily people's conversation, but it's just white noise, and that's,
I will say I think they do have, especially at Rehoboth, I think they have some decent eateries. I'm not saying they're fancy, but some of the food at some of the places is good to me, down on the beach. I can't remember Ocean City. I think I ate at a pizza place in Ocean City, but I don't remember
food. We used to rent houses by the week down there, Ocean City.
Yeah.
With my ex-wife's family, and I remember.
Cuzzo.
Went to a buffet, like a seafood buffet, Phillips Seafood Buffet they had down Ocean City. That's the only place that I remember going to.
Yeah, I know exactly where that is.
Which I was very upset when they took that out of the Inner Harbor. I was pissed. I used to go Phillips down the Inner Harbor and tear that buffet up.
Yeah, I'm not a big seafood person. Seafood's cool, but I know you are, but yeah, not me.
But all right. You want to take a time out and then get into the
BS?
Get into.
I mean, yeah, if you want to take a time out, that's fine. Everybody on live, please stay tuned. We'll be back in about 5.
Yeah.